Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are doing a video that is super exciting. It's a video that so many people have requested. Even from our very first Q&A, everybody wanted to know how we met. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to give it a like if you do. There we go.
Alright, so let's start. I'm gonna sort of just go from, I guess you could say, my perspective of how it went, and then I think it'll be easy if Monique shares her perspective of how it went. So back when I was a young boy, at the age of what? I don't know. How old were you?
I was 17.
She was 17, so I was 18, about to turn 19, I think.
Actually, yeah, I think I was 16 because it wasn't 2015, but...
2015. Let's go all the way back to 2015. At that time, I decided not to date. I was avoiding all that nonsense and really just praying, for God to... The next person, basically, I prayed the next person I date, I want it to be my wife. I didn't want things distracting me because... starting in 2013, I started traveling to South Africa every year in October. And this is before I met Monique. I was doing missions work, and I just didn't really want any distractions in my life. I was getting serious with my relationship with God. But obviously, I mean, it was in my head and my heart, Lord, I would love to meet the one that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
And I was doing the exact same thing. I was also in a place in my life where I came out of kind of a really bad relationship. And after that, at first I went through the phase of I'm never dating again and blah 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 blah. But even at the age of 15, maybe even sooner than that, I started praying that the next person I date should be my husband. I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm done with dating, and I'm not just gonna date for the fun of it, because if you don't go into a relationship with the goal of marriage, then it's gonna end anyways, and everybody always ends with a broken heart. So both of us kind of had that kind of perspective of we're praying for a future husband and wife, and we're not gonna date just for the fun of it because it leads to heartbreak. Next.
I think it was the year of 2015, beginning of the year. I think it was around January, maybe around there for me. And I was going through a really rough time, because by this time, I was really set apart and my own self. Wouldn't really go hang out with many people, just wanted to really focus on what God was doing and traveling to South Africa. But obviously after time you begin to get lonely, and it was okay. You see all these other people go out on dates, and you're like, okay, what about me? I'm 18, 19, and just chilling at home and all that. But I had a really great experience with God, and I knew that eventually, sooner or later, she was gonna come. And so I think it was around February or March, April, somewhere around there, of 2015. Monique's friend Carla added me on Facebook, which she was in connection with my uncle and his church friends that were traveling to Johannesburg. I traveled to Cape Town. I had never been to Johannesburg before, and that's obviously where Monique was originally from. And so Carla added me and said, hey, I've met your uncle, this and this, and just chatting and stuff. And then one day, this fine piece of white chocolate popped up on Facebook, and I don't know, there's just something leaped in my heart. And so out of the ordinary, I asked Carla, I was like, hey, who is this? I need to know who this is. And the funny thing was, it even wasn't like it was like a joking photo with her making a face and all that.
Yeah,
but
it really wasn't a nice photo at all.
It was just something, I just needed to know who this was. So it wasn't so weird because I kind of knew Carla in a way, and she had known my uncle that was traveling there, so it wasn't just like I was being a creep. So then she kind of connected me and Monique, and I think I said, tell Monique I want to add her on Facebook, and I sent her a friend request, and she accepted it. Anyway.
Yeah, so I also just want to add to that. So basically through this whole thing, Preston and I was at the same level but still in different countries, so it is quite crazy that we went through the same thing. Through this whole thing of where we were praying for our future husband and wife, you know, like you said, it gets lonely sometimes. I mean, I was about 14 or 15 years old and I refused to date, and I don't know if it's the same over here, but especially in South Africa, dating in high school is a really big thing. Everybody's always dating and some jump from the one to the other.
Yes.
So being in high school and not dating was really, really difficult. And obviously there comes temptations and all of these things, but God just honored my heart, and every single time that someone would come on my path that I was interested in, but I was like, oh, I don't know, God would just kind of take that person away.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm really, really thankful for that, because I think I saved myself a lot of heartbreaks for it all. But yeah, to come to where we're at now.
But then she added me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here is where the debate comes in.
She asked for my number first.
No. So Preston says that I asked for his number first, but I think we should actually put a screenshot of what actually happened. Because Preston asked, do you have WhatsApp, which is the communication that we use in South Africa.
And she was like, yes, 081, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, if he asked if I have WhatsApp, he wasn't just going to be like, oh, okay, let's move on talking on Facebook. He was going to ask for my number, so I just said,
she was ready to give them digits.
Yeah, but anyways, so then
she gave me a number first.
No. So then we started speaking over WhatsApp, and
that was in like May 2015.
Yes, and it was really like text at first sight, because, you know, for so long I've been praying, Lord, this is exactly what I want in a husband. You know, he needs to be in ministry, he needs to love God and all those things. And honestly, when I told guys my age what I wanted in a guy, they told me that I'm gonna die alone and become, like, I should just become a nun, because there's no way that I'll get that. And so speaking to Preston for a little bit, I realized that he was exactly the person that I wanted to marry. And so my prayers changed from, Lord, this is what I want in a husband, to, Lord, I want a guy just like Preston.
Oh.
Okay? Because obviously at that stage, I was still living in Johannesburg. Once a year, he would come to Cape Town, which is a 2-hour flight away from Johannesburg. So everything still looked really, really impossible.
Yep.
You know, we were living across, like, totally across the world from each other. And yeah, so then we
started messaging, and we were just casually talking, but it was like that missing piece that was always gone, and it just felt like we had known each other forever. And we, through that time, maybe only Skyped only when Carla was around, because she was so nervous to Skype or talk or anything. But it was just casual, you know, really get to know each other, and it was great. It was like, but like Monique just said, it seemed impossible. Like, what even, you're not even where I even travel to do missions. So how is this even, you know, gonna work out? But we just casually talked and started getting to know each other better, and it was, you know, it was scary. It was very scary. Come over the summertime of like June, July, August, September. By then, I personally was getting kind of tired and was like, I don't know if this is even, you know, possible. But praying, you know, wow, this girl is amazing. This is what I've always prayed for, always dreamed of. But how, God? She doesn't even live where I'm going. So yeah, then we move on to getting into September, and October is actually when the conference is every year in Cape Town, which is when I go. Well, I did have plans to go to Johannesburg and do some youth work there, and that just kind of got whacked down, and so that was like our opportunity to meet in a way, but that got canceled, and so it was like, oh, we're never gonna meet and all this. And then come Open Heavens Conference, which is the one in October in Cape Town, which I would be spending 3 weeks in South Africa. Monique got the opportunity. You can tell that. You're better at that.
Yes, so then there was this conference in Cape Town, and even, you know, at that age, you know, I didn't really have a job or anything, so a simple plane ticket to Cape Town was a lot of money in those years. So then my friend Carla that introduced us, she actually came to me and she told me that she just feels like the Lord is telling her that she needs to pay for my plane ticket to Cape Town. And I was like, oh well, you know, that's so nice of you, but I can't go. And she was like, okay, why? And then I told her, well, obviously my parents won't allow me to go. And then I prayed and I told the Lord that if He wants me to go to this conference and basically meet Preston, then He will allow my parents to say yes without any doubts about it or questions about it or anything. So Carla called my dad and asked him if I could go, and she called me back and she was like, he said yes. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it, you know. I'm the only child, so it was a very big shock that they would just allow me to go off with Carla. They allowed me to go, and I even remember my dad telling my mom that like after he ended that call, he was like, what did I do, you know?
What did you do? You scored an awesome son!
So I ended up going to Cape Town, and then comes the very first day of the conference. I saw Preston, super nervous, and then we didn't speak to each other.
Nah, I was dead drop nervous, honestly. I almost threw up all over the parking lot, because I got out and just so happened she was there. I swear she was wearing white. She says she wasn't, but I saw a white dress. I don't know, and I saw her over there, so beautiful looking, nice, slim and tall. And yeah, so anyway, I saw her and I was like, yeah, let me avoid this. This was a little bit scary. Then we got into church, fast forward. Couldn't believe I was actually meeting this person that I spoke to for so long and basically dreamed of meeting. Then we finally meet and it was like, hello, and hugged, and then we both just walked away. And I was like, wow, that went over great. So then I just sat there, and then she sat behind me in church, I think, for the first night. And I could
stare at him the whole time.
Exactly, I could feel her. She wasn't even focusing on the Lord. She was focusing on me. But no, so then we went on, and the conference was like 4 days long or so. And after one night, we got an opportunity to sit by each other and just kind of talk and connect one-on-one, and I was praying for her dad that night, and we prayed together and was just talking, and it was just like, wow, you know, this is nice, you know.
And we took our first picture that night, which we'll try to put it somewhere.
We'll put it up there. Our very first picture together. We'll show you, we were little babies. And then one day in the conference, we actually got asked to go to the mall and hang out with Carla and some other friends that were there. I don't know their names. I just know they were gingers, I think. Something like that. They had red hair or something. Anyway, so it was Century City Canal Walk or whatever, the mall that we got locked in. Funny, we go there all the time. And so we ended up going, just have lunch and go to Spur and all that. And we were just sitting there in the booth together, like, what the heck, you know, what do we do? This is really awkward. But it actually wasn't so bad. She was scared to talk to me half the time. She was just so scared that she was going to say something wrong or do something wrong. But then we started walking through the mall, and our friends were ahead of us talking, so we just kind of got some, you know, one-on-one talk again. And I actually, even then, was in my heart thinking like, wow, where have you been my whole life? Like, you're the one I'm going to marry. I don't know how. You live in Johannesburg. I live in Cape Town. And I even was like, look, we both even said it like, look, if it's meant to be, God will have it, you know, come together.
Yeah.
And then we went to our last night of the conference, and Monique was headed back that next day. I think it was like a Sunday or something. And I can remember hugging Monique and telling her, don't worry, I promise you'll see me again. Fulfilled that promise, the Lord did. And I can remember telling her bye, and it was pretty miserable. It wasn't fun.
I'm pretty sure I cried myself to sleep that night because, you know, we just had these magical couple of days, and now we go back to when are we going to see each other again? Is it going to be months, years? You know, we didn't know. And the next day, before we flew, Carla and I went to where he was staying, and he gave me a shirt, and I don't know if I'll find a picture of it, but I'll try to find a picture. And I'm pretty sure he sprayed his entire bottle of cologne over the shirt.
What are you talking about?
He did, because I was like sitting on the plane, like smelling the shirt. It was very weird, and I was crying, and it was just a hot mess. But yeah, so then basically
back to normal lives.
Yeah, normal lives.
My trip ended.
He stopped speaking to me.
No, I didn't.
Yes. Okay. So for a couple of months, he didn't speak to me.
Look, I went back home. I was living in America, and it wasn't like a rude not speaking. It was more like, okay, you know, this is impossible. Really, it really was. But you know, there was other individuals that crossed the path that seemed more realistic. Let's just leave it at that. But I mean, I always deep down had something special in my heart for Monique, but I just didn't know. You know, it was just impossible. So basically, fast forward to January or December 2015, January 2016. We really weren't talking at all. It was very vaguely. Monique would message me. She says I was just short and rude or didn't reply. It wasn't. But there was times that I'm gonna be honest, I'm a terrible individual. And she won't act like she ain't trying to talk to somebody else either. She did.
Okay, because like my heart was broken in pieces.
Mine was too.
And I couldn't forget about Preston. And it sounds really bad, and I'm really sorry, but like I tried so many different things to kind of forget about him and tried to get in new relationships and everything, but I just couldn't. Like,
same word for both of us.
For months, like I just couldn't stop thinking about him, and honestly my heart was so broken. In February of 2016, we magically got the opportunity to move to Cape Town, and it was honestly a work of God. And a week after we moved to Cape Town, Preston started speaking to me again, and he didn't really know that we moved. He just said he felt like God was leading him to speak
Basically,
to me.
my mom told me, "You're stupid, boy. You better go after her." And I was like, "Well, Mama knows best."
Yeah. So then we started speaking again, and there then started
really serious talking.
Yeah, like
we kind of knew.
We were really, really serious about each other and started Skyping like every single day for
Her dad
months.
was so angry. Dad, Tappy.
Yeah,
He was so angry he used to get in there. What are you doing?
Yeah, like we would Skype for like 3 hours, and I mean...
Then it got really miserable to the point where we were basically not in a relationship, but in a relationship.
Yeah.
We knew we were supposed to be together. We knew we wanted to be together. But we're texting,
and
you know, and all this. And,
world.
oh wait, yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, we haven't even said this. The time difference.
Oh,
so
yeah.
basically, I would wake up early because I was working at Starbucks, and it would already be 1 p.m. there. And, you know, by the time my day's just getting started, she's going to sleep almost. So you have to learn the time difference of talking, of when you're going to Skype.
Yeah, it was really, really
it
terrible.
was miserable.
Like I would basically go a whole day without like not speaking to him, and just when I want to go to bed he would be like, hey, you know. So there was a lot of late nights for me, and that was really difficult. 6
months of that, basically almost in a relationship, basically being in a relationship, you know, knowing we're devoted to each other. But I think the hardest thing was time difference. Like we just said, it was miserable. Even then, the distractions would try to come to hinder, you know, this relationship being, you know, put together. But even before they moved to Cape Town, their family, God had already spoken to me to move to Cape Town to go serve under the church where we belong to in South Africa, Lofdale International, and I knew I was going to be getting a visa to go there, to stay there for a year longer or so. And so yeah, so we kind of knew that I was coming to South Africa, so we had to live those 6 months of knowing, okay, it's getting closer, it's getting closer, it's getting closer. Her mom actually and dad, they talked, and they invited me to come stay at their house. They picked me up at the airport for when I moved for the big long missions trip. they got me in September, and I got the privilege to stay at their house for a month, and they took me around Cape Town and all the places that I didn't get to see on my 3-week trips, and just kind of got my emotions set in with leaving my family, and it was amazing. I always think back, what would I have done if, you know, Monique's family wasn't there for me on the side, and all my church family is amazing, but it's good to have that kind of pull away, that home away from home as well. And me and Monique got the better opportunity to hang out every day and talk.
Really get to know each other. Talking to each other on text versus in person is way different. So even in the beginning when he just got there, I mean the first time I was studying for an exam, but I didn't speak to him. Like, him and my mom spoke more than me and him did, because it was like a culture shock to me, because okay, then there's the accent, which really helped a lot. Like, his accent made him way more attractive, and so like it was really kind of an adjustment to work together and to really get to know each other's personalities. You wake up and walk in the kitchen, and she was there always. Yeah. She was up at like 4 in the morning every single morning. I don't understand it, but I would wake up at like 8, and like my hair was all like, yeah, like we saw each other at the worst. And just by the way, with this we don't mean that living together is okay, but our situation was a bit different, because when he then after that month moved to where he was actually living, it was like 30 minutes away, so it became very, very difficult to see each other the whole time. So I think that 1 month,
yeah, we didn't even share the same room before marriage. Like, we believe in that you get married before you live with each other. Yeah. But I have my own room and everything. Yeah. We're not going to complicate this and drag this out, but we just want to throw that in.
After about 15 days of him being there, we actually started dating, and we'll put some pictures of that as well.
It wasn't 15 days, it was actually 10.
Yeah, it was just shortly after he came, but we already knew for the past 6 months, so to some it may seem like quick, but really for us it felt like forever. Yeah. And then after that month he moved to where he was living. Yeah, we just saw each other on weekends because he was super busy in the week. I was still in school at that time, and it was really difficult after being close to each other for a whole month and then not seeing each other, but we made it work. And he was in South Africa for
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
And I went home once without her. Oh my word, that was miserable.
So terrible. Just
because that was the first time we ever been apart. Yeah. Because I went home for like a 20-day visit in the middle of my trip, and that was in March of 2017.
Yeah, and the day after he left, my grandmother passed away, and it was just really heartbreaking to me, because like my grandmother raised me, so I really needed him at that time. But obviously he was already like on a plane back to America, so I wasn't going to be like, hey, come back. And he wanted to come back, but I was just like, no, you need this. So that was really difficult.
It was our first time being in time difference again, but we made it, and look at what God has done. Yeah. I mean, we look back and it's...
Many months have passed, and we then got engaged in 2017, December 5th on my mom's birthday in America, and then got married the day after my 19th birthday on the 20th of January 2018, and then we got married again
in South Africa. Our big wedding and
on the April 10th of 2018. And here we are now.
Here we are now.
So yeah.
Come here, you. It's crazy. Looking back on everything that God has done for us, we're so blessed and so thankful that I would have never, ever thought that it would have went the way it did. Yeah. But to wrap it all up, that's our goal actually, is to travel and tell our story, because in person there's a lot more emotion. We can connect more and tell you the things that we went through, you know, the loneliness, the hanging on. But if you're in this situation with relationships, we're encouraging you, stay faithful to God, and He will bring the right person down your path. Yes. There are so many things in this world that want to grab your attention and grab your focus, and the wrong person that can distract you from meeting the one. And in my own life, I went down a way different path than Monique, and that's another video for another day. But I'm so blessed to, you know, have her in my life, and someone basically, you know, that I thought I would never get with, something, you know, so precious as her. But, you know, you have to stay faithful to God, and He is your first love, and we can only love because He loves us and we love Him, and we keep Him our first love. That even though we're husband and wife, we still have to have that one-on-one time with God. And most of all, through the whole journey, prayer kept us. Prayer, praying for each other, praying that God would make a way where there seemed to be no way, and He did, and He supplied the needs, and He put everything together. And now we're married almost 7 months on the 20th, and it's been great. We face a lot of challenges, but she's my best friend, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else. And so, yeah. Are you crying?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so just to add on to what he said, like, I fully believe that if it wasn't for me kind of sacrificing a normal dating life, I wouldn't have met Preston at such a young age. And even now people ask us, how are you married at the age of 19 and 21? Because it really isn't very popular for people to get married at this age. But I just feel like we kind of matured at a very young age. And even from a young age, we both started praying for a future husband and wife, and just started seeking God about exactly what the characteristics are. And to me, it wasn't about what he looked like or anything. I just loved him for who he was, the personality that he had. And so yeah, so people just be faithful to God and seek Him for what you want in your future husband and wife. So that was our story. We really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel and share it with people. Like
she said, you guys, that's our story, and we're sticking to it, if that makes sense. But we love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We are who we are, and this is our story, and there's a lot more to tell. So if you guys need to talk or need any encouragement, hit us up, slide into our DMs, but not for that reason, only for encouragement. So anyway, this is dragging out. But remember, folks, always love God,
love people,
and love coffee.